has gained an international reputation as a promoter of sport, particularly of athletics. 20 years earlier, in the mid-1950s, sport had a somewhat lower profile, with the major athletics events in the town being the sports in the Youth Stadium, later massively developed as Gateshead International Stadium, and the annual Clark Chapman Sports, held on the company's own field at Old Fold, adjacent to their works. When this film was made, Clark Chapman was one of Gateshead's major employers, having, unlike many engineering companies, survived the various trade depressions from the 1890s to the 1930s. The firm was founded at South Shore, Gateshead, in 1864 by William Clark, an engineer formerly with the Bedlington Iron Works and Armstrongs of Elswick. In 1874, the company acquired 14 acres of land off St James's Road for a new works, and soon added a further 14 acres to it. At about this time, Captain William Chapman became a partner in the firm. They manufactured ship's winches, and by 1868 had constructed the first steam-driven cargo winch to appear on the market. By the end of the century, the company had diversified into boiler feed pumps, boilers, electricity generating plants for ships, and electric deck winches. In 1907, there were over 2,000 employees, with welfare societies, sports and social clubs, and a choral society. In the mid-1950s, the company was still independent, manufacturing marine auxiliary equipment. Mergers were to follow from the 1960s. The works, which can be seen in the background to these scenes, was demolished in 1995. An earlier period in Gateshead's history in which its sportsmen were nationally renowned was the mid-19th century, when the town produced national champions in athletics. Foot racing, known as pedestrianism, was revived in 1855 by James Rowan, born in Oakwellgate in 1836. He travelled to Manchester, London and Scotland to compete in professional road and track races. He defeated international competition in the form of Jackson, the American deer, before high living caused his early death in 1864, the year in which William Clark established his company. John White of Gateshead succeeded Rowan as champion in 1859. The last great foot runner of this period was Stephen Ridley, who defeated a Manchester runner to win the mile championship at Friars Goose Running Grounds in 1872. Athletics, both professional and amateur, continued, the former at a running ground near Clark Chapman's called Borough Gardens. Here, additional attractions were rabbit coursing and quoits. It was to counter the professionalism and gambling at this venue that amateur sports clubs were founded, the first of which was North Durham Cricket Club, established in 1864, which quickly became the amateur sporting centre for the town. Attractions here, in addition to cricket and rugby football, were foot racing, pole vaulting and bicycle racing. Road racing was encouraged by the formation of Harriers clubs, often connected with local churches. It's this amateur tradition which has continued into the present.